In Utah, nearly 70% of our land is controlled by the federal government. In comparison, the federal government controls less than 1% of the land in Connecticut, New York, and Rhode Island. Of all federal land in Utah, half is unappropriated land, meaning that the United States simply holds the land without any designated purpose. In Utah, there are 18.5 million acres of unappropriated land, about the size of West Virginia. This land is controlled by the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, under the Federal Land Policy Management Act, or FLPMA. Utah has filed a landmark public lands lawsuit asking the U.S. Supreme Court to address whether the federal government can simply hold unappropriated lands within a state indefinitely. This lawsuit will not impact the millions of appropriated acres already designated as national parks, national monuments, wilderness areas, national forests, tribal lands, or military properties.
From a legal standpoint, nothing in the text of the Constitution authorizes the U.S. government to simply retain huge swaths of unappropriated land within a state forever. To the contrary, the authors of the Constitution carefully limited federal government power to hold land within the states.
So why is Utah taking action? The BLM Public Lands Rule redefines conservation to adopt a museum-type management approach and allows the issuance of restoration and mitigation leases that close leased lands to other uses. The BLM recently closed over 317 miles of popular roads and trails in Grand County against Utah's wishes. This has significantly limited public access to these areas, impacting recreation and local businesses that rely on tourism. Recent decisions by the federal government impose heavy restrictions on developing our energy portfolio and infrastructure. Utah's preference is that public land remain public and open for sustainable use and recreation, including hunting, fishing, camping, biking, off-highway vehicle travel, and rock climbing. If the lawsuit is successful, Utah intends to take steps to acquire these BLM lands and actively manage them for multiple uses, balancing recreation and conservation with energy production, livestock grazing, and sustainable resource development. If Utah were to acquire BLM lands, the Utah Department of Land Management would come into existence and manage them under the Utah Public Lands Management Act, prohibiting the privatization of these public lands except in rare situations.
Utah deserves priority when it comes to managing its land, and Utahns are best positioned to understand and respond to the unique needs of our environment and communities.
Utah has a long history of working in partnership with local and federal agencies to improve public lands. For example, Utah's Grazing Improvement Program is dedicated to improving the health and sustainability of Utah's rangeland. Utah has invested over $35 million in projects benefiting over 12 million acres statewide by working collaboratively to promote multiple-use management of public lands. We are committed to ensuring that the lands and resources are used sustainably to benefit both current and future generations of Utahns and visitors. Visit standforourland.utah.gov to learn more.